Hey everyone, and welcome to another deep dive. Today we're all about manifestation, and we've got some really fascinating sources ready to go, articles and research, all that good stuff, and I can't wait to unpack it all with our expert.
I'm excited to be here. I think we'll be able to take a really in-depth look today.
Yeah, definitely. I think a lot of people have at least heard of this whole manifestation thing, right? It's been pretty trendy lately.
Yeah, you hear it everywhere these days.
But I think there's a lot more to it than just, wishing and hoping.
Definitely. There's some real depth to it, for sure.
So if manifestation isn't about waving a magic wand, how would you explain it to someone who's maybe a little fuzzy on the details?
Well, it's funny because, we all use this technology every day. That's kind of the perfect analogy for a manifestation, and that's GPS.
Ooh, interesting. Okay, I'm listening.
Yeah. So think about it. You set your destination right. That's your goal. But the GPS doesn't magically teleport you there.
Right.
It gives you directions, helps you navigate, shows you the obstacles to avoid.
Okay, I see where you're going with this.
And manifestation is kind of similar. It's about setting that intention, that destination, and then using your mindset and actions to navigate your way there.
Okay, so we're still in the driver's seat. It's not like the universe is going to just drop things in our lap.
Exactly. And this is where it gets even more interesting because neuroscience is actually starting to back up some of these ideas.
Oh, cool. I love the science angle.
So have you ever heard of the reticular activating system, or the RAS?
Vaguely, yeah, it rings a bell.
Well, the RAS is this amazing part of our brain that acts like a filter for all the information that's constantly coming at us.
Okay.
And when we really focus intently on something, our RAS kicks in and starts noticing things related to that focus, things we might have completely missed before.
So it's like putting on a special set of glasses that filters out everything except what we're focused on.
Yeah, that's a great way to think about it. And this is just one example of how our mindset can really play a role in shaping our reality.
Wow, that's pretty powerful.
It really is.
Okay, so we've got the power of focus, we've got our brains working with us, but what about the actual steps to make this manifestation thing happen? I know one of the sources lays out these 3 key steps that seem to be pretty common across the board.
Yeah, definitely. And it all starts with something that sounds deceptively simple: clarity.
Okay, clarity, I've heard that before, but what does getting clear actually look like? Is it just saying, I want to be rich and hoping for the best?
Not quite. The source uses a great example. Instead of just wishing for a better job, define what better actually means for you.
So it's about more than just a vague idea.
Yeah, imagine you're writing a detailed job description for your dream role.
Okay,
What's the salary, company culture, the specific tasks you'd be doing?
so we're getting super specific.
Get incredibly specific because your subconscious mind loves details.
Ooh, the subconscious. I knew that was going to come up.
It's all connected.
So it's almost like we're programming our internal GPS with very precise coordinates.
Exactly. The clearer the picture in your mind, the more effectively your subconscious can work towards bringing it to life.
Okay, so clarity of step 1, what's next on the manifestation to-do list?
This is where we tap into the power of visualization.
Visualization, okay, I'm with you.
And it's about more than just creating pretty pictures in our heads. It's about embodying the feeling of achieving that goal.
Oh, interesting. So it's not just I see myself on a beach, but I feel the sand between my toes. I hear the waves crashing. I smell the salty air.
You got it. The source really emphasizes that emotions are the language of the subconscious.
Okay, that makes sense.
So if your goal is to write a novel,
Mm-hmm.
don't just picture the book cover. Imagine the feeling of holding the finished copy, the joy of signing it for a reader, the pride swelling in your chest.
I'm getting chills just thinking about it.
That's the power of visualization.
Okay, but I imagine we can't just sit around visualizing all day. At some point, we have to, actually do something.
Absolutely. And that brings us to step 3, inspired actions.
All right, inspire action. Let's hear it.
Manifestation isn't passive. It's about taking consistent, purposeful steps that align with your vision. One of the sources puts it beautifully: the universe rewards motion.
Okay, I love that. It's like we're setting the intention, but then we have to start walking towards it. And maybe the universe is clearing the path, opening doors, sending us little signs along the way.
Exactly. But here's the catch. Those opportunities might be subtle. They might look like challenges or detours. That's where the real magic of manifestation comes in.
Because we're more likely to spot those opportunities, even if they're disguised as something else, if our RAS is tuned in, if we're clear on our goal and actively feeling it as if it's already ours.
Precisely. And that's why this whole process works so well together. But of course, there are some common traps people fall into along the way.
Oh, I bet I'm ready to hear about the manifestation mistakes we should be avoiding.
All right, let's dive into that. And I think you'll recognize some of these patterns. One of the biggest pitfalls is focusing on what we don't have, on that feeling of lack.
Oh, for sure, I'm guilty of this. It's so easy to get caught up in thoughts like, I don't have enough money, or I'll never be as successful as so-and-so.
It's a common human tendency, but the source points out something fascinating. When we constantly repeat those thoughts, our brain latches onto the negativity. It's like we're reinforcing the lack rather than attracting abundance.
So instead of focusing on what we want, we're accidentally pushing it further away.
Exactly. It's about shifting our language, our internal dialogue. Instead of saying, I don't have enough money, try something like, I am attracting abundance into my life.
Okay, I have to admit that feels a little weird to say at first, but I can see how it would start to shift my perspective if I kept at it.
It's about training your mind to focus on the positive, on what you're moving towards, not what you're running away from.
Okay, so no more dwelling on the negative. Got it. So what's another common mistake that trips people up on their manifestation journey?
Impatience manifestation often gets presented as this quick fix, but it's more like a slow cooker than a microwave.
Well, tell me about it. We live in such a fast-paced world, it's hard to remember that some things take time to cook.
Exactly. One of the sources uses this great analogy. Imagine you're making a delicious stew. You wouldn't expect it to be ready in 5 minutes, right?
Definitely not.
You have to let it simmer, allow the flavors to meld. Manifestation is similar. It takes time, patience, and trust that things are unfolding as they should.
So no rushing the universe, no checking the pot every 2 seconds to see if our dream has manifested yet.
Right. It's about surrendering to the process and having faith that things are happening behind the scenes, even if we can't see them yet.
Okay, patience check. What's the last mistake we should be watching out for?
This one is about ignoring our intuition, that gut feeling, those subtle nudges, those synchronicities that seem to pop up when we're on the right track.
One of the sources phrases it so well. The universe whispers before it screams.
It's so true. We often get these little hints, these breadcrumbs leading us towards our goals, but we brush them off as coincidence or overthink them.
Or we just plain miss them because we're not paying attention.
That too.
So it's about paying attention to those whispers, those subtle signs that we're on the right path, and trusting our gut.
Exactly. Learning to trust your intuition is a powerful skill in the manifestation process, almost like having your own internal compass guiding you towards your desires.
Okay, we've talked about the steps and the mistakes to avoid, but do we have any real-world examples of this stuff actually working? I mean, do we know anyone who's manifested something amazing?
Absolutely. One of the sources tells a story about a woman who successfully manifested her dream job. We'll call her Sarah to protect her privacy.
Okay, tell me everything. I love a good manifestation success story. What was Sarah's situation?
Well, Sarah had always wanted to be a graphic designer. She had the skills, the passion, the whole 9 yards. But she was stuck in this dead-end job that was draining her creativity and leaving her feeling completely unfulfilled.
Ugh, I think we've all been there at some point. So what did she do? Did she just start visualizing a new job and wait for it to fall into her lap?
Not quite. Remember those steps we talked about? Sarah put them all into practice. First, she got crystal clear on her dream job. She wrote down a detailed description outlining everything from the type of company she wanted to work for to the specific projects she envisioned herself working on.
Okay, so she nailed that clarity piece. What'd she do next?
She went all in on visualization. Every day she would close her eyes and imagine herself walking into her new office, feeling that sense of excitement and belonging, seeing her desires come to life.
So she wasn't just picturing it, she was really embodying the feeling of already being there.
Exactly. And the final piece of the puzzle, she took consistent action. Even when she felt discouraged or like nothing was happening, she committed to applying for at least one graphic design job every single day.
Wow, that's dedication. So what happened? Did the universe reward her persistence?
It absolutely did. Within 3 months of putting these principles into practice, Sarah landed her dream job as a graphic designer for a company she'd always admired.
That's amazing. And it really highlights that manifestation isn't about sitting back and wishing. It's about aligning our actions with our desires and believing in the possibility of achieving our goals.
Well said. Sarah's story reinforces that powerful combination. Persistence plus positivity equals power.
I love that. It's such a great reminder that we have the power to shape our own reality.
Exactly. We're not just passive bystanders. We are active creators.
And it all starts with that belief in ourselves and the courage to take those first steps. Well, this has been such an insightful deep dive into manifestation so far, and we've only just scratched the surface.
There's so much more to explore. I think our listener will be especially intrigued by some of the nuances of how our subconscious minds play into all of this.
Ooh, yes, that's definitely a topic that deserves its own deep dive. Let's dig into that next time.
Sounds great. I'm looking forward to it.
Me too. All right, we'll be back soon with even more on manifestation, so stay tuned.
See you then.
Bye, everyone. All right, so we're back and ready to dive even deeper into this whole manifestation thing. Before the break, we were talking about real-world examples, and it got me thinking, is manifestation just about getting stuff? Like a dream job or a fancy car?
That's a great question, and it's something the sources touch on too. While those material things are often what people focus on, the principles of manifestation can be applied to any area of life.
Oh, okay, so it's bigger than just, material possessions.
Exactly. It's about becoming the best version of ourselves, creating fulfilling relationships, and even contributing to a better world.
Okay, so it's more about like personal growth and transformation.
Exactly.
So could I use manifestation to, say, boost my confidence or improve my communication skills?
Absolutely. Let's say confidence is your goal. Using the steps we talked about earlier, you'd start by defining what confidence actually means to you.
Okay.
Is it speaking up more in meetings, trying new things without fear of judgment?
Right, right.
Once you have that clarity, you can visualize yourself acting confidently in those specific situations. And then, of course, comes the inspired action piece.
So putting it into practice.
Yeah, that might mean joining a public speaking group, setting small challenges for yourself, or simply practicing saying yes to things that scare you a little.
Okay, so it's not just about wishing for confidence. It's about taking concrete steps that align with that vision.
Exactly. And the same goes for relationships. If you're looking for a loving partner, you wouldn't just visualize a vague image of a perfect person. You'd get clear on the qualities that matter most to you, the kind of connection you crave, and the ways you want to feel in that relationship. Then you'd take action steps that align with that vision. Maybe joining a hiking group if you're an outdoorsy person, volunteering for a cause you're passionate about, or even just putting yourself out there more socially.
I love that. It's like manifestation becomes a tool for personal growth, for becoming the kind of person who naturally attracts the things we desire.
That's a beautiful way to put it. It's not just about getting, it's about becoming. And as we evolve and grow, our desires and manifestations will evolve too.
Okay, that all sounds great in theory, but I have a confession.
Oh,
I'm the queen of self-sabotage.
I think we all have a bit of that in us.
So what about those times when doubt creeps in, when we feel like giving up, or when things just aren't happening fast enough? How do we deal with those negative thoughts and emotions?
It's so common to have those doubts, and one of the sources talks about this directly. They say it's important to acknowledge those feelings without letting them control us. It's like noticing a storm cloud passing overhead. You see it, you acknowledge it's there, but you don't let it rain on your parade.
Okay, I like that analogy. So we don't try to pretend the doubts aren't there or shove them down, but we also don't let them take over.
Exactly. And one powerful tool for combating those negative thoughts is the practice of affirmations.
Right, affirmations, those positive statements we repeat to ourselves, but do they really work? I've always been a bit skeptical.
Think of affirmations like planting seeds in the garden of your mind. The more you repeat them, the more those seeds take root and start to sprout. You might not see results overnight, but over time, those positive statements can start to rewire your thinking and shift your beliefs.
So instead of dwelling on thoughts like, I'm not good enough or I'll never achieve that, I could try repeating affirmations like, I am worthy or I am capable of anything I set my mind to.
Exactly. It's about consciously choosing the thoughts we want to cultivate rather than letting our negative self-talk run the show.
Okay, I'm willing to give it a try. But what about this whole idea of letting go? I hear that a lot in the context of manifestation, but I'm never quite sure what it actually means. Is it about giving up, resigning ourselves to fate?
That's a common misconception, but letting go is actually about releasing our attachment to the outcome. It's about trusting that the universe has a plan even if we can't see the full picture yet.
So it's not about being passive, but more about surrendering to a higher power or to the natural flow of things.
Exactly. It's about recognizing that we don't always have to control every detail. We set the intention, we take inspired action, and then we let go of the need to micromanage the universe.
This makes me think of those times when I've been super stressed about something like getting a specific job offer, and then when I finally let go of that desperate need, something even better came along.
That's a perfect example of how letting go can actually open us up to possibilities we might have otherwise missed. It's about trusting that the universe has our back, and that things will work out in the best possible way, even if it's not exactly how we're envisioned it.
So we're not just manifesting a specific outcome, we're manifesting the best possible version of that outcome.
You got it. And that's where the real magic happens, when we release our need to control and allow the universe to work its wonders.
Okay, this is all starting to make sense, but I still have a few lingering questions, like what about the subconscious mind? I know it plays a big role in all of this, but it feels so mysterious and inaccessible. How can we tap into its power?
That's a question that comes up a lot, and for good reason. Our subconscious mind is like this vast, hidden reservoir of beliefs, memories, and emotions that influence our thoughts, feelings, and actions.
Now, we're not even consciously aware of most of it, right?
Exactly. It's operating beneath the surface, shaping our reality in ways we might not even realize. And that's why it's so important to become aware of those subconscious patterns and beliefs, especially the ones that might be holding us back.
Okay, but how do we do that? It's not like we can just call up our subconscious mind and have a chat.
Well, there are a few different techniques that can help us tap into that hidden realm. We've already talked about affirmations, which can be a powerful tool for reprogramming limiting beliefs. Visualization is another great one, especially when we combine it with strong emotions to really imprint those desired outcomes on our subconscious.
So by consistently visualizing and affirming our goals, we're essentially sending messages to our subconscious telling it what we want to create.
Exactly. It's like planting those seeds of intention deep within our minds.
Are there any other techniques for working with the subconscious?
Absolutely. Hypnotherapy is another powerful tool for accessing and reprogramming the subconscious mind. A skilled hypnotherapist can guide you into a relaxed state where your subconscious is more receptive to suggestions, helping you release limiting beliefs and install empowering ones.
So it's like we're bypassing our conscious mind and going straight to the source.
Exactly. And when we align our conscious and subconscious minds, we create a powerful synergy that makes manifestation much more effortless and effective.
It's like we're getting our whole being on board with our goals rather than just our conscious desires.
Precisely. It's about creating that internal harmony, that alignment between what we consciously want and what we subconsciously believe is possible.
Okay, this is all fascinating, but it brings up an important question for me. We're talking about manifesting all these amazing things for ourselves, dream jobs, fulfilling relationships, personal growth. But what about the state of the world? Is it ethical to focus on our own desires when there's so much suffering and injustice out there?
That's a really thoughtful question and one that comes up often when we talk about manifestation. I think it's easy to get caught up in the idea that focusing on our own desires is somehow selfish or takes away from others.
Right, like it's a zero-sum game where someone's game is another's loss.
Exactly. But the truth is, the universe operates from a place of abundance. There's more than enough for everyone. And in fact, the more we align ourselves with that abundance, the more we contribute to the collective good.
So it's not about taking from others, it's about expanding the pie for everyone.
Exactly. When we manifest our own desires, when we step into our own power and create a love that feels aligned and fulfilling, we raise our own vibration, and that positive energy ripples outwards, impacting those around us and contributing to a higher collective consciousness.
It's like that saying, a rising tide lifts all boats.
Exactly. By focusing on our own growth and well-being, we're actually becoming part of the solution, not the problem.
That's such a powerful shift in perspective. It's not selfish to want a better life for ourselves because that desire can actually ripple outwards and create positive change in the world.
Absolutely. And that's why it's so important to release any guilt or shame we might feel around manifesting our desires. When we do that, we're not only giving ourselves permission to thrive, but we're also contributing to a more abundant and joyful world for everyone.
Okay, this is blowing my mind. We've covered so much ground today, from the neuroscience of the reticular activating system to the ethical considerations of manifestation. It's clear that this is a deep and multifaceted practice.
It truly is. And I think one of the biggest takeaways is that manifestation isn't a one-size-fits-all formula. It's a journey of self-discovery, a process of learning what works best for you and how to align your unique energy with the power of the universe.
It's about becoming a conscious creator rather than a passive bystander in our own lives.
Beautifully said. And as we continue our deep dive, I think our listener is going to be particularly fascinated by some of the specific techniques for amplifying our manifestation power.
You're right, we've talked about affirmations and visualization, but there's a whole world of practices out there that can help us supercharge our manifestation game. Why don't we explore some of those next?
Let's do it. I think our listener will be really interested to hear about those.
Okay, so we're back, and my brain is officially buzzing. We've talked about the steps, the mistakes, the subconscious mind, even the ethics of manifestations. It's a lot to take in.
It really is. There's so much to explore with this topic.
Definitely. But I'm ready for more. What are some of those powerful techniques we can use to really amp up our manifestation power?
All right. Well, I love a good analogy.
Always.
So let's think of manifestation as a radio.
Okay, radio, I like it.
We've tuned it to the right station. That's very clear intention.
Right.
But sometimes the signal is faint.
Okay, yeah, I've been there.
These techniques are like adjusting the antenna, boosting the volume, making sure we're receiving loud and clear.
Okay, I'm hooked. Tell me everything. What's the first antenna adjustment we can make?
One technique that I think is often overlooked is the power of gratitude.
Gratitude, okay.
And I'm not just talking about, saying thank you before dinner.
Right.
It's about cultivating a really deep sense of appreciation for all the good that already exists in our lives.
I've heard that before, but I'm curious, how does gratitude actually help us manifest?
Well, when we focus on what we're grateful for, we shift our energy from a state of lack to a state of abundance.
Okay, so instead of focusing on what we don't have?
Yeah, exactly. It's like we're sending a message to the universe saying, hey, I'm noticing all the good stuff you're sending my way, and I'm ready for more.
So it's not just about feeling good, it's about aligning ourselves with that frequency of abundance.
Exactly. And there are some really practical ways to incorporate gratitude into your daily routine.
Oh, perfect. I love practical tips.
One of the sources suggests keeping a gratitude journal each day. Write down 3 things you're grateful for.
Okay, 3 things.
No matter how small, it could be a delicious cup of coffee, a sunny day, a kind word from a stranger.
It's about training our brains to focus on the positive.
Yeah. to notice and appreciate all the good that's already surrounding us.
I could definitely get behind that. And I think sometimes it's easy to forget to do that when we're so focused on what we want to manifest.
Definitely. And another powerful way to cultivate gratitude is to express it to others.
Oh, that's a good one.
Tell someone you appreciate them, write a thank you note, or simply make an effort to notice and acknowledge the good things people do for you.
Not only does that feel good, but it also strengthens our relationships and creates more positive energy in the world.
Exactly. It's a win-win.
Okay, gratitude's definitely going on my manifestation toolkit list. What else can we do to boost our signal?
Another powerful technique is scripting.
Scripting. Tell me more.
It's a form of visualization, but instead of just picturing your desired outcome, you write about it as if it's already happened.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah. You describe the scene in vivid detail using all your senses, and most importantly, you write it from a place of feeling.
So instead of just visualizing myself getting a promotion, I might write a journal entry from a future date, describing how amazing it feels to have achieved that goal.
Exactly. It's like creating your own personal movie script for your dream life. And by writing it in the present tense, you're essentially tricking your subconscious mind into believing that it's already a reality.
Okay, that's brilliant. I could see how powerful that could be. It's like we're taking visualization to the next level, making it even more real and tangible.
And here's a bonus tip. Read your script aloud with emotion as if you're experiencing it right now. The more senses you engage, the more powerful the technique becomes.
Okay, scripting is going on the list for sure. What else can we add to our manifestation toolkit?
All right, this one might seem a little woo-woo, but hear me out working with the energy of the moon.
Ooh, the moon. Okay, I've heard a bit about moon cycles and manifestation, but I've never really delved into it. What's the connection in there?
Well, the moon has this powerful influence on our emotions and energy levels.
Right.
Each phase of the moon carries a different energy, and we can actually tap into those energies to support our manifestation process.
So it's not about the moon magically granting our wishes. It's about aligning ourselves with its natural rhythms.
Exactly. For example, the new moon is a great time for setting intentions and planting seeds for new beginnings. The waxing moon is a time for taking action and building momentum towards our goals. The full moon is a time for releasing what no longer serves us and celebrating our progress. And the waning moon is a time for introspection and letting go.
Okay, so there's a whole system to it.
There really is. It's like we're working with the natural ebb and flow of energy rather than fighting against it.
Makes sense.
And one of the sources suggests creating moon rituals to amplify our manifestation power. For example, you might write down your intentions on a piece of paper and burn it under the new moon, or take a cleansing bath under the full moon to release any negativity.
Okay, I'm intrigued. It's definitely something I want to explore further. But before we wrap up, I have to ask, what about those times when we've done all the things, we've set clear intentions, we're visualizing, we're taking action, but it still feels like nothing is happening?
That's a common experience, and it can be incredibly frustrating. But one of the most important lessons in manifestation is the art of surrender. It's about trusting that the universe has a plan even when we can't see it.
So it's not about giving up. It's about letting go of that desperate need to control the outcome.
Exactly. It's about having faith that things are unfolding as they should, even if it's not on our preferred timeline. And sometimes the universe has something even better in